I didn't know if we were going to have a summer event. It's been a really hard year. And Nay's song, Pray For Me, is so special to me. Pray for me if you love me. Pray for me when you're thinking of me. Hold me close, closer than close. I just got a text from my dad's girlfriend. He ate his first real meal tonight. So, yeah, he got a girlfriend. It's probably what gave him a stroke. Tonight, you're gonna see a sneak peek of season 3. And over the last 4 years of filming A Beautiful Resistance, we've probably filmed 40 pieces of content at least, Jenee. And this is one of the most special episodes we've ever filmed, not just because of the immaculate vibes of Dana Tate Jr., but also because it's at my alma mater, our HBCU of Norfolk State University. It's in Virginia, where I'm from. I represent the town. I love Boston. I'm a Roxbury girl, but I am from Virginia, and so it's really special to be able to tie the two together. And my team went behind my back and snuck in some footage that they thought I was gonna ask them to take out, but I decided to leave in because I do a lot of asking questions and telling other people's story. And you guys know me, but you actually don't really know me because it's my job to put the light on other people. So this episode is something special. Without further ado, I'm going to give you Behold the Green and Gold.
It was just something that I gravitated towards because I gravitated towards. No one pushed me to play basketball. My dad was big on basketball, don't get me wrong, but I was already into sports like swimming and kickboxing with my grandfather, so he let me do my thing there. He let basketball come around because when I was younger, I didn't gravitate towards it. But when I did full throttle. There was no going back to other sports. I was just on that. Those exact moments is what helps pour meaning into my life and who make me just feel alive and just, you know what I'm saying, just want to carry on and go keep doing that day in and day out.
Where we at, Dana?
Brockton, the 508.
What's your earliest memory of basketball?
My earliest memory of basketball is at the Roxbury YMCA, playing in my first game, my junior Celtics game. I didn't really play basketball like that before then. I had just jumped into it. I was a swimmer, you know what I'm saying? So I started to just play basketball with my friends after school, after school program there. So the league was free. I'm already there every day. The games was after school, so my mother got off work late anyway, so I signed up, she signed me up, and I just went and played, and I remember just not passing the ball.
Tell me about your memories on this court here in Brockton at home.
Memories here, this court, my father got this made. My brother was 11, I was 12, so about 6th grade. And that's when I really started to take off with the sport of basketball, just always wanting to be around it, working out, playing every day. I just eat, sleep, breathe basketball, you know what I'm saying? So right here is where we actually did a lot of our workouts. With my dad, we didn't have to go to the gym. We would get up in the morning, we would go for runs around the neighborhood, and then we'd come right here and work out, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, when we're done working out, we'd still just stay out here and play all day. And my friends all around the neighborhood would come over here every day. So this was the spot to come to. My crib was the jumping spot. You feel me? This way everybody wanted to come and have fun.
Get the shot. Get the shot.
So when we pulled up, I noticed your nephews. So tell me a little bit about Dana the uncle and what you're teaching your nephews.
Try to be, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I tell them to be just a cool, calm, collected kid. Those are the kids that I like the most. You know what I'm saying? Don't start trouble with nobody. Be nice to kids. Be a kid. Be a kid that kids want to be around. And just always surround yourself around this sport right here. He likes basketball, he likes football. He just likes being active and just playing sports. So I always tell him to stay into that, stay out of trouble. Don't do bad stuff with your friends. If y'all want to have fun, y'all could come right here and play like I did. You know what I'm saying?
What did your mom and dad teach you about going after your dreams and just, being who you are as a Black man in America?
Well, one, they definitely do stress the difficulties it is being a Black man in America, and how we are at a disadvantage, if you would say, from the starting point. But my mother and father always tell me, if I want to do this, like if I want this to be my life, then I actually have to, dedicate myself to it. And everything takes hard work. Like you got to put your hours in, and what you put into something is what you get out of it. So, if I put the work in, if I put the hours in, and if I, dedicate myself to my craft, then my outcomes would be what I want them to be.
Loyalty and trust is what I stand on. Family and love is what I stand on. If it's love, I got it tatted. Father, I'm not absent. I was working smarter back when they was working backwards. Do it for the gram, you only do it for a caption. Dropping back to back, but really I've been relaxing. I might go for months, I could go for years. If I take a break, I promise I'll be relaxing. Started from the morning, I just need a traction. Started with a buck, now I'm telling you I'm not too good in my own balls. I take that leap of faith, yeah, I really dove off. Nothing I need to say, I let the work show off. For my kids, I go hard, gotta go hard. This the anthem. If you reckon with it, put your hands up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're here at Norfolk State University today with the Dana Tate Jr. of Roxbury. I think it's crazy that I came all the way from Roxbury to my alma mater of Norfolk State University to see a Roxbury native. Tell me a little bit about your journey to Norfolk State from Boston.
Norfolk State reached out to me when things were rough for me, actually, at a point in time, because things didn't work out for me at two schools. I wasn't playing basketball at the time, and Coach Jones, he took the time to recruit me, and Coach Brown as well. They took the time to recruit me and, make me feel like this is another chance or another opportunity to showcase my talent and actually, go somewhere with the abilities that I have. So I feel like that's what drew me to HBCU, because they still showed me love, and they still saw that they believed in me, even when, a lot of people didn't. And even when I was in a situation where I didn't really have any reason for someone to believe in me, and they still did, and they still gave me the opportunity. And I just felt like that showed me the difference between HBCUs and PWIs, because a lot of PWIs, when they kept reaching out to me like that after the situation I was in, but they saw a young Black man, and they told me that they saw something in me before I even got here, and when I got here, they understand why they gave me a chance. So
Norfolk State changed my life. I had never had a permanent address for more than a couple years. Norfolk State was the address I had the longest in my entire young adult life, that 4 years. So this school became home to me, and it wasn't my first choice either. I wanted to go to Georgetown, and I thought about Howard because that's where most of my family is, but I had a scholarship here, a partial scholarship, and a bunch of high school professors that were supporting me to come here, and it's the best thing that could have happened to me. I always tell people, Norfolk State made me. Everyone got real hype when I went to Harvard for a year for a Neiman, and I was like, that's cool, but I would have never been whatever happened next had it not been for Norfolk State.
When we spent our money at the mom and pop stores instead of dabbling in video game wars and being addicted to Walmart and adding more and more to our shopping cart, even I have fallen victim to seeing what the next development would be over top of that patch of trees that used to be where we used to play hide and seek, where Weeping Willow used to be. Now you see a sign that reads Jones Realty. So do we even have primary colors? Or have they all been distorted and bordered up with signs that read blue but mean green, that read red but mean green, that read toll-free but mean green, that read natural but mean green? And we all know that green is no longer natural. It was murdered and made into money. Peace.
So once you got here, outside of basketball and who you've become as a player, how has the school and the HBCU experience shaped you and grown you into who you are?
Just getting here and just seeing the culture and just seeing that everybody's themselves and everybody can be themselves and everybody is just, it's a welcoming environment, and it's just shown me that I don't have to change who I am because the situations I was in before, I'm not saying I necessarily changed who I am, but there's parts of me that necessarily I wouldn't act on because I'm in a different environment, you get what I'm saying? And that's not really recommended wherever I'm at, but here, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can be yourself, you can relate to people and stuff like that. So I just felt like it's helped me become more open to seeing things and just helped me become more in tune with who I am and actually just being who I am and being comfortable with that 24/7.
I'm always cool, baby. I'm saying. I'm saying.
It's hot out here though. I'm good though. I ain't gonna lie. Jacket too.
Tell me about the first time y'all met.
The first time we met was over the phone. He called me after I had committed, and he wanted to get a feel for who I was, you know, just have an initial conversation. And then first time I got to campus, we just clicked. We went to the gym later that night, you know, we played pickup, all of that. So we just got off to a good start right when I got here.
What did your brotherhood mean to you?
It means a lot, you know. Once you win together and win championships together, then the brotherhood becomes closer. You know, of course, we have our ups and downs. You know, that's all brothers. You know, but it's my guy right here, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. If I call you my brother, that means like I trust you with my life. That's what it means to me. Like, whether you're blood or not, if you're my closest friend or my teammate or just my regular brother, you feel me? Like, that's blood. Like, I treat blood to my heart, like.
And I feel like, brother, the same thing that he feels too along that, but I also feel like I got a lifelong friend and someone who's also gonna be in my life that I'm gonna build lifelong memories with. Like, you know, when we come back for, you know, a reunion, or when one of us get married, we'll all be there. Stuff like that, special occasion, baby showers. Like, you got people that love you and support you now for the rest of your life. And it's crazy because we're from two totally different parts of the country. We're still on the East Coast, but I'm from 10 hours away. And to come down here and, you know, build relationships with guys that I would have never met if I didn't play basketball is crazy.
This one is actually
When we saw you last, these were dreams. You had dreams of playing professional basketball, dreams of, you know, leaving Boston and doing other things that you can bring back to the city with you. What is it like now that you've actually lived it? You know what it feels like to kind of have that dream be actualized and fulfilled?
I started off in Portugal. I played for a team called Club de Sportivo Povo de Varzim. Then I relocated to a team in Slovakia, and they're called BC Komano. That's where I finished the season. I was proud of myself again to that point, but once I got there, it was more of like, okay, now this is what you do, it's just at a higher level. That was also a great achievement of mine, is just becoming more knowledgeable about the sport, you feel me, all the way across the world.
And you also, in the middle of playing professional basketball, managed to finish your degree at the illustrious HBCU, Norfolk State University. How'd you find time to do that, and what's it feel like to finish up?
There should be no excuse, so you know, don't give yourself an excuse to not, you know, put forth an hour, 2 hours, a few days out the week to get these done, because at the end of the day, you do that now, you finish now, it's gonna help you for the rest of your life. And I'm proud that, you know, I'm able to make my parents happy and my family happy by achieving this goal. So I am proud of myself and, you know, what it means to me and my family.
What makes your life a beautiful resistance?
My life is a beautiful resistance because of family, basketball, love, and giving back to the community.
Well, Dana Tay Jr., keep resisting beautifully. Your life is a beautiful resistance. Thank you for sharing this space with me.
Thank you for having me. I got my little man back there with the okay, like the camera. Look at her.
Look at him learning.
Oh boy.
Be a filmmaker. We have to give you a credit on this episode. For everybody watching, we have an entire studio filled with students from Norfolk State University helping film this episode. So this is just Sparta all day, Sparta forever. Can we get a behold?
Behold!
The green and gold.
Poetry is not just, some poems in a book. It's also lyrics. It's about being an MC. It's about singing. It's about dancing. Poetry is art, period.
Are you my friend? Are we locked in? First and foremost, where is Jenee and Michaela? Where are my babies at? Where's Kiki? Kiki, did you hide? This is my team, Jenee and Michaela. We've been together for 3 years, almost 3 years. And I picked them up second season of A Beautiful Resistance. And I knew that after we worked together, it would be pretty rare for me to work with anyone else again until they become too expensive, because I doubled their rate and told them to never go back. So that's my dream for them. And we just got our first official video intern, JL over here from reppin' Lynn Lovely. So this guy snuck archival vintage footage of me in this episode, so y'all get to see baby Nay. But before we go any further, I would like Dana to come to the stage and get his flowers from this audience. So Dana, please just come up here for a second. No. What'd you think of the episode?
I loved it. Jenee, great job, bro. Great job.
I'm gonna give you the mic so you can thank whoever you want to thank. And but the first thing I want you to do is tell everybody what Black joy means to you. And then I'm gonna give you the mic for a minute before we move on with the show.
Black joy means to me, we can have events like this, come together as a people, appreciate one another, show love within our community, build upon ourselves. We know the struggles we go through, we talked about it in the video, so the fact that we can come together and, shine a light on positivity is the biggest thing. I want to thank all my family for coming, my parents, my mom, my dad, my right hand, Anthony, my man Reese, got my man Maul, got Junior, my cousin Ant, and his girlfriend Jalise. We got all my people here, you feel me? So, everyone came to show love. I want to thank, I want to thank you for, doing this with me, having it special, and thank everybody for coming to support. And I really appreciate this event.
Before I introduce our next guest, please A Beautiful Resistance just launched its first newsletter 6 weeks ago. We're 6 weeks in. It's a weekly. It's free. You could sign up at globe.com/ABR, or you could just flash your phone to this QR code, which will take you to globe.com/ABR. But it really is free. It's not fake free. It's not like put your credit card in. It's just literally put your name, your email address, and every week you'll hear from me and get a little bit of Black joy in your inbox. Our next guest is one of the most genuine people I have met in Boston. He always is like at the function looking flyer than everybody in the room. Smells amazing. Smells amazing. So ladies, well, I don't know, he might be taken. I seen him with a woman once, but then I never saw her again, so I don't know. You gotta ask him. Push up on him, ladies, be assertive. But Hervins is a banker by day, but he is a stylist, he's a vibe curator, he's a host. You will recognize his seductive, husky, chocolate voice. That's my version of it. From Celtics footage and Red Sox? It was someone else. Yep, Red Sox and Reebok. You're gonna get to know him, so I don't have to do too much, but I just want to really make sure you know, like, when people say the word illustrious, Herv does that. Herv JB does the thing. So please welcome him to the stage. Welcome him to our living room. Let's do this.
Cross my leg. I mean business. That's the business stance right there.
That's how he do.
I just want y'all to see the kicks, that's all.
I knew you was gonna come up here and do something. I didn't even want to wear heels. One of my best friends is here tonight, and I told her, I was like, man, I don't want sneakers, but these pants wouldn't allow it. I was worried about my fit. I was like, Herv might not fuck with this.
I like that. I like that you were concerned.
What's your earliest memory of fashion?
My earliest memory of fashion is, I remember when I was about like 7 or 8, FUBU used to put out these silver suits. Like it was like a denim jacket with the denim pants, and it was just silver. And I think it was Mace in the video, and he just sported it so well, and he had like a lot of vibrant colors. And Cameron was one of my earliest, like, just memories of fashion, especially as a Black man that was just super comfortable wearing what he wanted to wear without being judged and just like being himself.
When people talk about fashion, sometimes they get real trite with it and they don't understand, like, this is armor, this is expression, this is how I speak to you before I even speak to you. When did you know fashion was your language?
I think growing up, especially growing up a little bit more on the poor side, you have to get creative, and part of being able to, like, step the way I do now is because, just being young and like working with hand-me-downs. And so like I would just wear hand-me-downs for my cousins all the way up till about like 7th grade. And around this time I had won Best Dressed. So that was just a moment of a lot of confirmation for me that I was on the right path.
You spoke a little bit about growing up poor, which I know that story well. It's mine as well. But I want to talk a little bit about what your journey was here from Haiti on your own. Yeah. Take us there and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. For those of you all who don't know where Haiti is, in the Caribbean, right next to the island of the Dominican Republic. And I was fortunate enough where I had family that chose to send me to the United States when I was 1 instead of coming with me. So I was living with family, aunts and uncles, and up until I was about 9 or 10. And so it was a very challenging journey just for the simple fact that, you see people with their parents and, you're 9, 10 years old and you still haven't called anybody mom or dad. You still haven't been read a story. you still haven't had anybody bring you to any kind of after school program or anything like that. And so what that experience was like was I learned at a very young age that I had to have a sense of self. Like I had to know who I was, because if I got hurt, I didn't have like, you know, my aunts and uncles that I lived with, they weren't emotionally as intelligent as I would have liked them to be. And so it was a lot of like leaning on friends, leaning on cousins, you know, and understanding that, you know, I'm probably going to get my time to shine when my parents are able to come to the States, you know.
How has that experience shaped the way you give back in Boston? Because I see how you move, and I would love for them to learn a bit about how you volunteer and give back.
I think first and foremost, I always talk about how mentorship is important. I think that kids especially, they're super impressionable, and I think that they need to know that you don't have to be a square or a loser or a nerd to be doing the right things. And they need to see that. They need to see that with somebody who's relatable, you know? So a lot of them don't see people who wear ties all the time or suits all the time. So they want to relate to the person that wears sneakers, that's tatted, that looks like their Uncle Jamal or anything like that. And so my focus was always relatability first. And so I would seek out through my professional job and through my creative stuff, I would seek out different nonprofits that I would be able to either give back time to or just show love. You know, St. Francis House, downtown Boston, which is like a house where they're able to provide clothing, but also like a hot meal for people that are coming in, a lot of the displaced people in the Boston community. Through their, they have like a clothing room where clothes are donated. What I'll do is I'll give like a few hours a week. I just go in there and I'll create different bags of clothing for people. They get a lot of Haitians, a lot of people of like Hispanic heritage, and luckily through being, you know, from the islands, I speak both languages. And so I would catch like Burberry jackets in there. I would see like Gucci sweatsuits, a whole bunch of like fly sneakers, and I would bless them. I'll make sure they felt illustrious. They felt like their best self. And, you know, through things like working for a bank, you know, I've been able to look through their forums and figure out, okay, well, here's the schools where they're like LMI, like lower middle income, you know, schools where I can go into and I can teach financial literacy, you know, just kind of relating back to, you know, not having my parents to be able to be like, hey, you know, what's up with money? You know, in the Caribbean household, for those of you that, you know, can relate, money is not really a thing people like to talk about. They shy away from it. My early experiences with money was when I would get money and my parents finally did come to the US, they would just take the money and we'd never talk about it. I would ask for it and I would get scolded at. There was no conversation about piggy banks or saving accounts or high yield savings or nothing like that. And so
You went ahead and asked answered my next question. I don't even got to ask it. Keep going.
you know, I'm always 2 steps ahead.
Not of me, baby.
You know, I see myself in a lot of these kids, and I'm like, you know what? Let me be proactive than reactive.
Absolutely. As a banker, you just spoke about financial literacy. What has it shown you, particularly here in New England, where, you know, we were just talking earlier, like the cost of living here. When you go where I'm from, I could have a house with an in-ground pool right now if I go back home. Yeah. Here, I'm living a loft. But what is working in a bank teaching you about the racial wealth gap and financial literacy here, especially for us?
One thing that I see, because I've been a banker for almost 8 years now, one thing that's very like prevalent and just like you see it all the time is that, you know, a lot of these families are not, especially like people from the Caribbean and like Black and brown families, they're not really coming into the banks and teaching their kids stuff.
What do we need to be teaching our kids and each other?
I think that conversation about, you know, just putting money away, what does that look like? You know, we talk about things like the 50-30-20 rule. That's one thing I teach in the workshops that I teach through the bank. You know, we talk about credit. We talk about leveraging credit. You know, These are all things that I see certain communities speaking on consistently. But when it comes to, Black and brown, I feel like their focus, unfortunately, sometimes is just, there's a lot going on in life that deters you from other important information. And I think it's not purposely. I just think that sometimes in our lives, because we have other things we got to focus on, it deters us, and we have to deviate from that to, make sure everybody's good in the meantime.
Now, I seen you in your work clothes.
Yeah.
We occasionally run into each other on the Orange Line.
Yeah, she be outside. You be outside.
I be on my way to work. But how did you go from, being fresh at work, just being naturally stylish, to you styling other people and you curating whole events around putting that shit on?
I have a lot of, first and foremost, major shout out to my community, my advocacy group. I have some amazing friends that would that trusted my vision, that would just let me practice. Like, they were going to events, I would just help here and there. I would go to a lot of stores, and like, something that's always been therapeutic for me is just kind of just walking on Newberry Street, walking certain malls, and just kind of, whether it's envisioning myself wearing certain things or like going to certain places, or even if I'm there, I buy things before I go places. So I don't buy it when I need it. Some things will be on standby. And so through practicing styling and visual merchandising with my friends, it was able to help me reach like a 10,000 hour mark with my craft, which then presented opportunities.
How do you go about putting a look together for someone? What's your mood board for that?
So when I put a look together for people, I like to ask them to first get on a call. I like to know, what are some things that inspire you? What do you like to wear? Who are some people that you see wearing things that you can see yourself also wearing those things? And so we'll connect. I'll send some looks that I think would look great on them. A lot of times there's a lot of pushback because people don't like doing anything new. But more times than likely, it's led to me, styling some amazing people. Some are NBA chefs, some are lawyers, some are athletes. So it's been really lucrative.
So now you and my good sis Melissa Valdez,
Shout out to
Haiti
Mel.
and DR, shout out, are two of my favorite hosts. Y'all energy is unmatched. When did you know, like, oh, I can host. I can raise the levels in the room?
It was I want to say it was my sophomore year in high school when I was hosting the pep rallies. You can see this on YouTube. This is probably like 2010, 2009. Like, I'm doing the pep rallies, I'm doing the talent shows. And so through just finding my voice, I think it was 6th grade when I got asked to do the announcements in the Irving. It was a middle school in Rosendale. Doing the announcements, I found my voice. So I was like, okay, well.
And you thought you sounded fly? Like, you knew it? You were like, oh, my voice is fly.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, this kind of sounds smooth. I could kind of, I could do something. It was the teachers that would tell me.
He a Virgo, but he sound like a Leo, don't he? Real Leo-like.
Thank God I'm not a Leo, man.
Whatever.
Oh, man.
I'm a Leo. Dana
the,
Tate Jr. is a Leo.
The Virgos is defrosting
Noma's
right now.
a Leo.
We defrosting right now.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm being goofy. What is it like for you to hear yourself over those Celtics pushes and to hear yourself, align with, like, when I hear your voice sometimes, I'm like, oh shit, that's Herb. Like, what do you have that feeling? Are you like, oh shit, that's me?
I have those feelings all the time. I have it all the time, but in the same breath, I feel like I belong. I feel like I don't believe in coincidences. And so I think gratitude is a consistent theme for me. So like, hearing my voice at like, this year I had the honor of doing opening day with the Red Sox, doing some activations and like doing some other cool things. And I'm like, wow, like, if my gifts are presenting opportunities like this, then I'm meant to be here,
You're definitely walking in your purpose, because I have to like hype myself up and do a few little exercises behind the stage. You just kind of come. I've seen you. You just sort of just show up, and I'm like back there tapping into like my alter ego. Which is why I said you real Leo. Like, I think I'm in my head like a Virgo. I want to take a moment of gratitude for you. And I'll be doing that a lot tonight because, like I said, this has been a hard year. I've lost 3 people. My dad is in the hospital now. It's showing me how fragile life is and how short life is. Even for the young, it's just short. And we were at a function, and I know it seems like Herb and I know each other really well. We don't. We're very cordial to each other, and we send each other like notes of support sometimes, but we've never actually hung out one-on-one. And I was at this function that I needed to be at to support Black creatives, and I had just buried one of my best friends, and there was a dress code. I was not dressed as the dress code. I forgot the event was happening, and I walked in, and I just really wasn't my social battery was in grief mode. And he came and sat right next to me and really held me down for the evening. And he didn't know I was going through all that. It was the anniversary of my mom's death, too. It was just like a lot happening. And I just want to say thank you for being that person, because you're like that. Like I said, you didn't know any of that was on my head. And you were like, nah, your outfit's fly. Like, you look fly. Like, let's sit together. I got you. And you always have that energy. So I just want to thank you for leading with love and just authenticity, because people don't always do that. And even though you flex on us, you don't do anything for the flex. And that's so beautiful. So thank you. And what makes your life a beautiful resistance?
What makes my life a beautiful resistance is I never let feeling like I'm not good enough keep me from getting started.
Say that one more time.
We're gonna double down. My life is a beautiful resistance because I never let feeling like I'm not good enough keep me from getting started.
Thank you, Harv. I love being able to share the stage with all my family. How y'all feeling? Are you my friend? Are we locked in? I'm not tired of it yet. I don't care. Steph can be mad. I'm petty. I'm sorry. My next guest are brothers. I mean, we're all family tonight, but they're blood brothers. They are DJs. They are producers. They bring the fun. They bring the dance. They bring movement. They give back to the kids. They rep the diaspora so lovely. And I've been telling them I want to do something for them for like a year. And I know they probably thought I was talking shit, but I be meaning what I say. It just takes me a while. And I just want to thank them for being with us. And I want y'all to give a big, big, beautiful, joyful, hella Black, beautifully resisting round of applause to Super Smash Bros. What is y'all earliest memory of music?
Go ahead.
First, tell people you're Mui, you're Noma.
I'm Mui, one half of the Super Smash Bros. My earliest moments of music were really just church. Honestly, like I grew up. My family is very spiritual. I grew up in church. I remember just kind of even just with utensils. I mean, not utensils. Utensils. Sorry. My mom used to complain about how I was always like messing up the dining table because I was always like playing with the knives and forks and just like drumming. And I grew up drumming, so that was really like I grew up drumming at my church, my family's church. So like that was really my first intro to music. And I feel like it wasn't until probably the last like 4 or 5 years where I really started to really look back and be like, dang, like I've really been around music my whole life. I didn't know, I had a whole different idea of what my life was gonna be like. So it's just, it's a blessing though. But yeah, those are my earliest moments.
Yeah, likewise. I would definitely say church was the first place that we kind of tapped in musically. He was more focusing on drumming and participating in the church in that manner. But for me personally, it was also just being around him and seeing him listen to music. And my sister was a singer, faithful singer. So, you know, just being around them was inspiring. And they definitely influenced me, for sure.
What does it mean to you to get to create with your brother? Like, it's, you know, it's one thing to do things with your best friends and everybody else, but y'all really get to do life together in every sense of the word. So what's that like for you? What's that mean to you?
It's tough. It's tough. But there's beauty in it. There's a lot of beauty in it. I feel like I haven't experienced anything else working with another partner like this. I don't feel like working in a work environment can't compare to working with your brother, because no one knows you better than your own blood sometimes. And most times, let me say that. And luckily, I've been able to kind of like follow his lead, you know, and obviously I'm very stubborn, but, you know, being able to have someone that's with you, beside you, that's gonna teach you, and, you know, being able to have that representation has been very important.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing though. Just like my brother said, it's definitely tough because we're brothers before we're business partners, or, you know, it's no matter what, even no matter, we can be on the highest of highs or the lowest of lows business-wise, you know, it's like we still are brothers. So there's always still that, there's always a connection that we couldn't even run from, but like it makes it, you know, it's like unspoken language. Sometimes people think we're twins. We don't look alike, but like sometimes our mannerisms are exactly the same. Sometimes we'll say the exact same thing at the same time, and we'll like look at each other and laugh. And people like, we'll be like, "Did y'all plan that?" And it's like, no, it's just we spend so much time around each other that but it's good. It's so fruitful, and it's good to know that you have someone that's down for you in this business thing, no matter what. So
One of the many things I admire about the two of you is the way that you represent the diaspora. And one of the things I love most about Boston is we have one of the most nuanced Black communities in the nation. A lot of places you go and Black people are often dominated by descendants of the American South. Here, our Black community is so fully represented of the world. Can you talk about what that means to you and why it's so important that we celebrate all of our multitudes as a people?
I think just to highlight, I think it was a couple of years ago, the percentage was like 25% minorities in Boston.
25% Black, 20%
Blacks.
Latino, about 9% Asian.
See, so even that in itself is so important and so influential for what we do. I mean, growing up in Roxbury, we've been, you know, we were in a melting pot of Haitians, Caribbeans, Nigerians, you know, Asians even, you know. I went to school in Chinatown, so just being around so many different diverse people has, I feel like, influenced the music that we make, has definitely influenced the people we surround ourselves with, and, you know, how we try to incorporate the type of people and the type of stuff we do in our music.
Mui, can you draw the line from like Fela Kuti to now, and how the music has changed, you know, World Africa, all of y'all, all of the journey of what y'all are doing?
yeah, so I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like when you look back, like a lot of the messages are still similar, and it's kind of unfortunate that, you know, we're still fighting some of these same battles. But a lot of the rhythms, they come back. It's just like fashion. Music is just like fashion. That's why there's so many parallels. It's like, you know how like all these trends, like people wearing Evisus, Von Dutch, you know, all this stuff that was popping 20 years ago is like being recycled. The same thing in music. People, and the art of like sampling and just like getting back to those traditional rhythms and funks and grooves. And we're so inspired by that. Like music was huge in our household, and seeing how like even from like, and it's been funny. I've been talking to my brother about this a lot. Like I've been listening to like, so we're Edo, like that's a tribe in Nigeria, and like I've been listening to a lot of like some of those traditional songs where it's all funk, and I'm like, yo, like this is so different, but like these bass lines will go crazy with what we're trying to do now. So it's like trying to find ways to like implement where we come from to now, and then just seeing like all, and just it's a testament to what you're talking about with like the diaspora. It's like all these people, like, yeah, everything started back in the motherland, but like all this stuff is influenced by our brothers in Haiti, to our sisters in India, and all these rhythms and to dance hall. So it's just like finding our ways to like, and we grew up loving that stuff too. So it's like, like I had Dominican friends, so I love dembo. Like I love the compas stuff. So it's like I find ways to take those elements that make me move or speak to me. And and my brother and I, we both do that. We try to implement it into our music. And I feel like it's not just us that's doing this. Like I feel like a lot of artists are thinking about that too.
Noma, what is the new project and what does it feel like?
I feel like the best way to describe it is...
First, tell us the name of it and when it drops, and then tell us what it feels like.
I can't tell you the name of it.
Not yet?
Nah,
Isn't it like in 2 weeks?
No, it's not.
Why y'all teasing us on Instagram?
Listen.
Okay, no, we want to drop a little...
two singles in a couple of days. So,
okay, all right. I was like, I know I was on Instagram.
So it's not a full-length project, but it's just like two singles we're going to release soon.
What's it feel like?
Say it again?
What's it feel like? What does it feel like for us?
It feels like Nigeria mixed with Costa Rica mixed with
Turks
and Caicos. So we've been traveling a lot, and I feel like that's the best way to explain it. It's an island feeling. It's a summer vibe. We want people to come and listen to the music and feel like they're on a journey with us throughout that whole...
Yeah, and funny enough, my mom... Actually, I got 3 generations in here.
Yes.
I got my sister, my mom, my grandmother in here. Somewhere, shout out to y'all.
Wait. Can y'all raise your hands?
Yeah. But
give them love, everybody. Give them love.
Yeah, but love you guys. But
I love you guys.
It's funny. I remember this is probably like sometime last year, because a lot of the music I feel like my brother and I make we make a lot of different music, but the last project we dropped, I feel like it was very mid-tempo, which is like, I would say probably like 95 to like 105 BPM. Sorry, I'm speaking to DJ jargon.
If you understand.
But like it was mid-tempo, and my mom said like, she's like, I like this music, but like give me something I want to dance to. And I was like, I feel you. So yeah, that's I feel like that's where we are right now. Just, trying to up the vibes. Yeah.
Speaking to your travels, I know that you have Spin Kids, which you've done in Africa and you're doing here next month. Can you tell a little bit about Spin Kids? Let them know what that is and why it's so important.
Yeah. Spin Kids is our nonprofit that my brother and I started. We started it here in Boston, and we did it as an add-on to one of our community events called No Hype Fest, which is actually next month, by the way. Shameless plug. There's no shame at all.
Drop the date. There's no shame.
Yeah, it's August 25th. We're doing a festival where we're highlighting a lot of artists from the region, and then bringing some artists as well from New York and Atlanta. And it's at the Artists for Humanity. It's a daytime thing. You guys should all come. It's gonna be beautiful. Shout out to Red Bull. Shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to Tobo Chico. Shout out to everybody that's involved. It's gonna be dope. But we started No Hype Fest as an add-on to that because we travel a lot, and we know when we were coming up, we didn't have big homies like what we're trying to do. Like we have people that inspired us, like DJ wise, because we started off DJing before producing, but we didn't have like people that was trying to do what we was trying to do, essentially, to look up to. So we, as we're starting to advance in our careers, we know the importance of that. And we wanted to start a workshop where we teach kids the basics of DJing. And we started it in 2022. Yeah, 2022. We started it, and we held the first one at the Record Co., which is another nonprofit music space. It's right next to South Bay Mall, if you guys are familiar. And we're doing it on the 24th, the day before No Hype Fest. We teach these kids, the basics. We try to provide them with like some materials to go home with. We teach them programming, and more importantly, we help them build a community of like-minded individuals. Because, like there's a kid there that started in our first program who went on to DJ in Cape Verde. Like, and he's like 12 years old, which is like mind blowing to me.
And he killed it.
And he killed it. We was like, his parents were sending us videos, and we're like, dang,
1,000 people in Cape Verde.
like the kid's doing his thing, but like, it's just building a sense of community for other creative kids to feel like, okay, like it's not just me, or it's not just the internet. We live in real life too,
How can kids apply? How can parents get their kids involved in this?
So you guys can email us. It's info@spinkids.com. And then it's also SpinKids, SPINKIDZ on social media. You guys can reach out, DM. We're trying to do it way more. And then we actually went back to Ghana and did an international version of SpinKids as well. So we started it here because this is where home is. But as we were invited to perform at Afrochella, a festival in Accra, Ghana, we partnered with them to make it part of their programming, and we taught in the past 2 years, we taught over 50 kids in Ghana how to DJ, and it's a blessing to just see how much they take away. And these kids still DM us on Instagram, like talk, and just trying to be there for them and just make sure that they feel inspired.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about Spin Kids and just the work you do outside of DJing and producing, because while we all love to dance to your music, I wanted people to understand like that you do a lot of community work. Noma, can you talk a little bit about how we live, the politics of the country, whether we're talking about Sonia Massey or the elections, how that informs, inspires y'all work when you're in the studio?
Of course. I mean, obviously it's been difficult times we've been living in, just witnessing. It's been a lot more prevalent. It's been a lot more in our faces, which is important for us to be aware of. But, it's been difficult to watch and kind of like gruesome. But I feel like it also empowers us in a way. It kind of gives us a voice to fight back, to speak up, to speak on things that we truly care about. And actually the people that we see that are going through these journeys and going through these trials and tribulations in real time. So it's like, for us, it's definitely been very, very influential, and we've done work on our own to kind of like, find ways where we can, make an impact, whether it be not only through our music, because we know how powerful music is, and it's its own language, and it can touch people in different regions and different states and cities and around the world. So we feel like that's been so, so helpful for us to be able to kind of like incorporate ways for us to speak on that, and through our music and through our production as well.
Do you want to add anything?
Not too much, but I just want to say that it's these fights, like I was saying earlier, like these fights, it just reminds you of like all the people we used to listen to, like even like the Fela Kutis, who were doing this before. Like some of these things they're talking about being oppressed, and they're talking about, like the government not showing them any love or not caring about them. And it's like, we're still talking about these same things, whether it's a little different or a little bit more modernized. We're still fighting these same fights. And it's just like, yeah, music can make you feel a lot of different things. And we try to make sure our music is not negative, and make sure people feel uplifted, makes you feel good, makes you at least like want to, be around your loved ones. And that's why our last project was called Loved Ones. It's about understanding life is short and not promised, and just cherishing the people that you're around and making sure you feel good in those moments when you're around them.
I just want to thank you for being with us tonight and for joining the A Beautiful Resistance DJ family. We've had Real Peace, Slick Veg, Baby in the Glow, Y Sham, and Thank you for making space for joy and for just loving on us as a people. And I want to end things a little differently. They're also DJing the after party, so make sure you stick around. Noma, what makes Mui a beautiful resistance?
I love that question, actually, because I feel like I don't get to give him his flowers enough. And in true Nigerian form, the best way to compliment someone is to actually insult them. all jokes. But seriously, like, for sure, I think the thing that makes my brother great as well is the fact that it's one thing for him to know his purpose, but it's another thing for him to actually live in it. And I think he's truly living in his purpose. And that's been amazing to witness. That's been amazing to kind of be a part of.
Mui, what makes Noma's life a beautiful resistance?
If there's one thing I'll tell you about my brother is he won't take no for an answer if he believes things could be better. And he's always, and we're both like that, but he demands great out of the people he believes great lives in. So I think that's what makes him a beautiful resistance.
Thank you. Just so y'all know, these two have literally been named like Boston's best DJs. They are among like Hall of Fame DJs in our city. Thank you for the work you do for the diaspora, and we'll see you at the after party and at the Q&A. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
No Hype, August 25th. See y'all there.
Yes, indeed.
Give it up one more time for Super Smash Brothers. And the women who helped bring them to us. Raise your hands one more time. Yeah. So when we started the show, we started out with me walking out to Pray For Me by Nay Speaks, younger Jenee. Nay is so special. And a lot of people say it, it's not just me. Like, so many people know that Nay is special. I say Nay is now and Nay is next, and not just for Boston, but for hip hop, for artistry. Pray For Me is one of the most important songs I've heard this year. It's literally a prayer. And anyways, I just want to thank you. And I want y'all to get to know her, so I will introduce her more when I gather myself. But please bring Nay Speaks to the stage. Hey.
You had to start it crying. You
Hey,
had
baby.
to.
I tried not to. I
Don't
really
make me
did.
cry.
I tried real hard. I tried to keep my thug together. But now that I've gathered myself, Nay is an artist, a lyricist, a poet, a Spelman student, currently killing it. Nay is part of 617
Peak.
Yep. So, which is an amazing nonprofit by please give it up for Akenna, please. Woo! Who does a lot, managing many Boston artists, Words Speak Life, and helping our youth find their voice, amplify their voice, express themselves so beautifully. And like me, he is in a hard season. And I would like to just give a moment of silence for a couple of people, starting with Sebastian Towns, Crystal Anderson, Jesse Riggs, and Alicia Lily Kearns, and anyone else who is not with us in this physical realm anymore. And if you are in your grief season, you got this. Nay, you are that girl in every sense of the you. When I say you have now and you have next, I mean it. Anyone who saw you at BAMS Fest, anyone who knows she's been named Boston's best new artist and is. What's your earliest memory of hip hop?
My earliest memory is probably just like freestyling with my cousins. And we would always just be playing, but I always loved to do it. Like I would be like, yo, like let's go freestyle. They're like, no, we just did that. Like we did that yesterday. But I always did love, rapping, poetry, writing. It was always something I was passionate about even before I showcased it to the world. So that was probably, my earliest memories of it.
When did you know you wanted to pursue it in a real way?
During quarantine, I was writing a lot, because I had so much time just being home, being by myself, and being able to learn so much in a comfortable setting. And so during that time, I also had done like a lot of poetry performances over Zoom. Like I used to perform for different high schools, inner city high schools, because I went to high school in Newton. So a lot of what I was doing was in the city, online, virtual. And then joined 617 Peak, where it was like, okay, finally, we're coming back together. Community's able to come outside, and I'm learning about the craft now. I'm learning about what it takes to curate these songs, to be in the studio, and learning more about just my voice and myself as an artist. So,
share with them what 617 Peak is.
It's a lot of things. So it's a nonprofit for inner city Boston youth, and it's for those that are pursuing, whether it's music, visual arts, videography, even the nonprofit business itself, and just the organization of that. It allows for all of us to use it as an outlet to learn about, like I said, the business side of the artistry and the industry that we want to go into. And there's so many different avenues to it, like. We allow people in the community to come in and perform and talk to the students, and that I was one of those students. So it's definitely, it keeps going. It goes down generations, and I was one of the first groups to be a part of it, and I continue to see it grow. So,
what's it like for you when you're from here, and then you find yourself on like a BAMS Fest stage? Because I was there that day and saw you and saw how much it meant to you and how much it meant to your family.
BAMS Fest was a moment for me to really like slow down and take in my performance and my community and everybody that was there supporting me. Because I think a lot of times I do really big things, and for me it's like, okay, well, that's just another thing, like, off a list or something like that. Like, and it all does feel good, but I don't necessarily allow myself to take it in every time. I kind of just keep going because I know there's another thing coming, and so BAMS Fest forced me to kind of slow down, stop, and really see everybody that was in front of me, but also allowed me to see myself in the way that we are a reflection of each other. And I think that's where everybody kind of saw like that breakdown when I did Pray For Me, because I had been thinking about the show so much. And it was really excitement. Like a lot of those tears were excitement, but just gratefulness, like grateful.
What inspired Pray For Me? Because it's gorgeous and it's healing and it's just an affirmation. What inspired that?
Well, Pray For Me came from seeing like a lot of the people I'm closest to go through so many different things. And we can support each other, but we can't save each other. So I think I was just kind of seeing that more and more. And you just learn that like even the people you're closest to, you cannot depend on them to hold you up. You have to be accountable and hold yourself up in your own way, whatever that may look like for you. Because when you rely on people, which you should, lean on your tribe, but don't depend on people because you put a lot of pressure on those relationships. And I think that can be a negative sometimes. Like Ike is my manager. There's a lot of things I can't put on Ike. There's a lot of things I have to rely on myself for. And so I kind of learned not to stress relationships. Like, you want everything to be as healthy as possible. And in order to do so, you have to recognize your boundaries. You have to recognize other people's boundaries. And so I was learning a lot of that. And in that space, sometimes you can't talk about everything. You can't tell people everything. And that left only God.
Amen. But I'll also say God gives us people. And I have a hard time leaning on my people because I have your attitude about things where it's
Right.
like, I will just keep doing it, keep showing up. I'm not going to slow down. And four of my close friends, or I haven't seen Heidi, but I'm sure she's here. But shout out to Priscilla, Melissa, Jazz, and Heidi. They kind of have to force me to lean on them because I ain't good on leaning. So I think God gives us people, and if you don't pull out your chairs on occasion for them to sit and be there for you, that's also part of following his blessings. And that's just me being real auntie right now because it's something
Right.
I'm in a season of learning to lean. As a HBCU alum and seeing what's happening with HBCUs and Black schools, Black studies, everything that celebrates us and encourages our achievement is being attacked right now. What inspired you to choose a HBCU and one of the best schools of any type in the nation, Spelman College?
I know for a lot of people, especially people that are legacies and have seen like multiple generations, go through college, and HBCU especially, you kind of make that a goal. For me, I didn't have that. So I didn't know what it meant to be at an HBCU, Spelman specifically, until I got on the campus. We had an event called Spellbound, which was like, if you know, you know, but it was like an orientation a couple days, and I kind of got to see like just a little taste of that sisterhood and what it would be like to be surrounded by people that were like me, but also like-minded, and coming from a place where I was great and then being surrounded by people that were great. It's like you either step up to the occasion or you fold. And so it definitely was an immense pressure, but it also showed me that like there's so many different outlooks and perspectives to life. And on that campus, people come from all over the world. And with that being said, people come from places where people come from less, people come from more, people come from generations that have done it already. Some people come from being a first generation student. I'm a first generation college student. So I think just being there and seeing that like there's no limit to life. You picture what you want, you envision it, and then you find a way to go get it. And they give you so many avenues to be able to do so, but also remaining like authentic to yourself. So
I see you on stages, in places, New York, Celtics, all over the map throughout the year. How are you navigating school and really making your dreams a reality? It's pretty impressive to watch it happen.
I'm still working on it. Like, I think balance is one of those things where sometimes it doesn't exist, and it's hard to make it exist. Like, there's a lot going on, but I just know, and I tell myself every day, when I pray that it's like, this is what I asked for, I envisioned it, and I'm just on the journey to get there. It's gonna be hard. There's gonna be struggles. Sometimes I may fail. I may lose here and there, but understanding that in every loss, there's a lesson. And with rejection, there's something else coming. Maybe something I wanted wasn't for me. And I might not have been able to recognize it in that moment, but as time passes, I'm realizing, well, things keep working in my favor. So if there was a rejection or there was a loss, it was for a reason. If there was a win, if something went well, it's for a reason, and I'm on my path. So
I'm gonna say something that's not very popular or cute. But a lot of times when I see music crews, there's always like a Beyonce. and then everybody else is all right, or they're mid, or they're really good at one thing, but maybe not other. Your crew is fucking phenomenal.
Hello.
Like I was for real talking to one of my sisters earlier today, and I was like, yo, I was like, I really, like, I'm listening to Yana G, I'm listening to Av, like, the Word Speak Life family, which is a beautiful mantra to be, you know, a collective under, like, y'all are really doing a thing. How did y'all come together? Because I also like how y'all support each other. Tell me about those relationships.
So, as I said, a lot of the foundation of my artistry began through 617 Peak. And how it started was we had like a poetry competition, winners were selected, and then it moved on to us having like our first studio time. And so that was where I learned a lot about how to record, how did I want things to sound, etc. And in those sessions, Kenna and Avenue were both there. And so meeting Av was like a moment in itself because I was in the studio, and when you're in the studio, you can't see who's outside. So I open the door and Av comes in. You know how Av is, this big, bright smile. And so I kind of just lit up. I'm cheesing because I had been a fan at this point. I've seen you on social media. You're from my city. You're in my city. And I'm just like, wow, I loved how he maneuvered. And so to just be in that space and have him as just a mentor in that moment, it wasn't about Word Speak Life, the label, or the collective at that moment. It was just about me being a mentor for you right here and right now. And so we were able to kind of grow into what you guys see today as Word Speak Life, the label, the collective. And then with Yana, it was like we met through basketball, but we had so many mutual friends. And we would be at like showstoppers practices, like stuff like that. Like literally playing basketball, just being in high school, and we're still kids at that time, so we're sending each other like Snapchat videos of me rapping, her singing, and that's how, one of our first songs, Everything Is Beautiful, came about. And then after that, we kind of just moved with each other. And so, like I said, growing into that bond, it was the same thing for both of us. And we're still working on it. We learn as we go, but we do it together, so.
And I was so into the moment, I forgot to speak to your comment on balance. I don't believe in balance, I believe in harmony. So, when I quit forcing myself to create balance and allowed myself to get into like what harmony looks like, how sometimes there'll be more of something and less of another so it could work together, it allowed me to have a little more peace. So if
I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal that.
It's me and my auntie era. I've always centered Black girls, femmes, women in them in my work. This is actually the most men we've ever had on an ABR stage. It's normally like a one of the men, and otherwise women in them. Because it's hard for us no matter where we are, but I feel like as women and femmes in them, it is a second and third layer challenge. What is it like growing up as a Black girl, young woman in Boston?
That's such like a deep question to unpack because there's so many layers to it. I feel like the biggest part about it for me is that I've always been observant. Like, I've always been a people's person. And so I kind of question everything that happens around me. Like, since I was younger, I've always been a like, how, what, why, when. And my mom is like, stop asking, like, I'm telling you what it is. You don't have to. But I'm so curious just to know why things are the way that they are. And so I think growing up as a Black woman, a Black young lady, a Black girl in Boston, that curiosity is a necessity because a lot of things are gonna happen that may lead you to question who you are, that may break you down, and so I think that pause to be like, well, why am I getting treated this way? Why do other people get treated this way? What is happening in my city that, kind of causes that spark in everybody? And And I kind of think I've always, like I said, I've always been that curious. I always take that pause. And that pause for me has just been a big part of my experience because I'm just so open to learning. I always want to know why things are the way they are. And so I don't really take a lot of things personal. It's not easy to hurt my feelings. Yeah, that's just been a big part of what some people may call a shell. It's also protection, but for me, it makes sense. I'm able to learn from it, so yeah.
In watching what is unfolding right now with the election, with the language, whether people want to support her or not, I'm not really interested in that conversation, but we can all agree that there is real misogynoir, racism and sexism all around the conversations around Kamala, and then watching the brutalization of Sanya Massey, it's like there's all these conversations, the defunding of Black female entrepreneurs. It's just everywhere I look, we're kind of under attack. What do you think our brothers and allies can be doing to better support and protect us?
I think it's about being intentional. Like me being an artist and being amongst other artists, it's important that you mean what you say and that you're careful with what you say. And I take that really seriously. Like in my music, if it's okay, my mom doesn't like cussing, right? Cussing is one thing. But I make sure that like if I'm saying something, it's something that I would say in real life. It's something that I mean. It's something that I want other people to hear. And so I think that intention means a lot when it comes to protection because, you know, people know what they're intending to do, what they're intending to say, if they're intending to offend you, if somebody wants to break you down or bash you, whether it's on social media through text, a phone call, or with a mic in hand. We know what we're up here for. And so I think that intention is just the main part of that protection. Making sure that if you want to defend a Black woman, you do so when you have a mic in hand, when you have a phone in hand, when you're on a podium. And so I think the people that are intentional in those ways, like me and you, and everybody else that has graced this stage, you can feel that.
How did you come up with Neighborhood Healer? Because there's a lot of things about you that I admire and celebrate. And, you know, the easiest one is Jenee. Especially because when I was a little kid, there were no other Jenees at all. And thanks to Martin Lawrence, there was a lot of Shanae calling. And the way that I smiled so joyfully and thankfully when I saw Neighborhood Healer with Nay as the emphasis, it was just special. How did you come up with that?
It's like a whole process. But this was like a moment with my team when we came up with what would be the title for the album. But then we also looked at it and we were like, okay, we can play with Neighborhood here because we had Neighborhood. We were like, we can play with that. And I think that hairline aspect just came from everything that I was talking about within the music. So the album kind of titled itself, and we just figured out how to make it the best for what we wanted to put out. But it definitely did title itself.
What's next that you can share?
That I can share. So, biggest thing on the bucket is I have a show on August 4th at the Middle East downstairs. So if any of you guys are free, you should come through. It's gonna be a big show. And everything after that, just more music and content on the way. But
what makes your life a beautiful resistance?
My life is a beautiful resistance because I can't be boxed in, or I won't be boxed in, should I put it that way. I'm a rapper. I'll start there. I'm a rapper, but I'll be rapping when I get that diploma. I'll be rapping when I get, every step of the way, I'll be doing what makes me me, and I'll be doing it in my way, and that's my way of resistance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do not have time for a Q&A because we got started a little late, but I do want tonight's joyful guests to come to the stage so we can give them a round of applause before we hit the after party. Get your pictures, give your thanks. And now we're gonna get off the stage because Jenee is going to bless us one good time with my favorite song of the year before we do this after party situation.
Woo! Yeah, I'm gonna take a breather real quick. I was shivering. Are y'all cold? That air is blowing, right? Okay. Whew. All right, let's do it. Look, they say pain is what you make it, so I turn it into light, okay? Yeah, look, they say pain is what you make it, right? Look, they say pain is what you make it, so I turn it into light. If love is what you need, then I can bring it in your life. And they say pain is what you make it, so I turn it into light. If love is what you need, then I can bring it in your life. And don't get caught up in the struggles and strife. Ain't gonna tell you that I'm good, cause I ain't feeling alright. Let me explain, know that pain comes in windows with a 5% tendo. Deeper and darker than the surface, but also simple, like pray for me. Pray for me if you love me. Pray for me when you praying. Pray when you thinking of me. I said pray for me. Pray for me if you love me. Pray for me when you praying. Pray when you thinking of me. I need a lot of guidance in my life, so I keep looking. Fine playing sidelines, fine playing hooky, but I know I'm so much bigger than that. I had to fall and lose my footing just to find a way back. So take me back, please, please, can you show me the way? Ain't gonna tell you that I'm good, cause I ain't feeling okay. You heard me crying out for help when I had nothing to say, so I'm just grateful I was blessed to get to see a new day. Okay, they say pain is what you make it, so I turn it into light. If love is what you need, then I can bring it in your life. And they say pain is what you make it, so I turn it into light. If love is what you need, then I can bring it in your life and hold me close, closer than close. Sometimes I feel so far from God and still I'm closer than most. Had to wash away my demons, had to holy my ghost. I keep my distance from their energy to shorten my dose, cause who knows, I got way more to gain than I really got to lose. And I'm really not saying got a couple loose screws. I've been running you saying I'm the ball in the booth. Got the grills for the tooth, shortcut, they smooth. Said pray for me if you love me. For me when you pray and when you thinking of me, okay? Said pray for me when you love me. Pray for me when you praying. Pray when you thinking of me, alright? Said pray for me if you love me. Pray for me when you praying. Pray when you thinking of me, okay? Said pray for me if you love me. For me when you pray and when you thinking of me, okay? I pray for you cause I love you. For you when I pray and when I'm thinking of you, alright? I pray for you and I love you. For you when I pray and when you thinking of me, okay? I pray for you cause I love you. For you when I pray and when I'm thinking of you, okay? I pray for you cause I love you. For you when I pray and when I'm thinking of you, alright? I pray for you cause I love you. For you when I pray and when I'm thinking of you, okay? I pray for y'all cause I love y'all. For y'all when I pray and when I'm thinking of y'all, amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, me looking at my manager got me messed up, but once again, I pray for y'all because I love y'all. I pray for y'all when I pray, and I pray when I'm thinking of y'all. I hope y'all can feel that energy. I appreciate all of y'all. And Jenee, this was crazy. This was crazy because we don't see a lot of this in the city. We don't see what people experience. We don't get to see it in this way, and you do it so swaggy. You do it so beautiful. And I appreciate you. I love this. I love you, and we need this. Let me come give hugs.
I love you. You will always have a big sister, auntie, and me.
Thank you.